Hi everyone, Matt from Figured here. Welcome to the second video on report packs, where we jump into the app and we'll have a look at firstly creating an org report pack and then configuring the templates. Then we'll go over save views again and we'll finish off with some tips and tricks. If you haven't yet watched the first foundations video, I recommend you watch that before moving into this one. So just before we jump into the app, reiterating the workflow here, we're going to be making the org report pack template, but to do so we're also going to need to utilize the save report views and or farm favorites that are in the individual farm files to flow through. Cool, so jumping into the app now, we're on the organization page of this demo organization. So report packs are located under Tools, Org Report Packs. You can see I've already got one set up here for end of year reporting, and you can come through and edit that one that's already existing. But for this demo, we'll jump in and add a new one. Call this. So give it a name and a description, and that will take you through to this next page where we'll be configuring the template. So firstly, you've also just got to select the subscription that you're working with. You've got a header here, and you can see you've got a couple of options to add report or add narrations. So you can add a variety of different reports just by clicking add report. And these work as little tiles, so you can add them in and then move them around by clicking and dragging the tile for the placement of the report when it comes out on the export. So what I'll do now is I'll start building out the contents of the report. So I'm just going to paste in some options here. You can enter in text and then just change the heading setting depending on how you like it to be viewed. Obviously you've got a range of different other options in here. You can make them bold, italic, strike throughs, add quotations, bullet points, numerical ordered list. You can add in tables and images and insert links as well. So I'm just adding in some details. I could add in a quote here. I also might just want to add a bit more of a summary further down. So I'm just copying and pasting some terms and conditions, and I've added that in there and then chosen the heading. So really just configuring the heading tile to how you would like it to show up. And this is obviously going to appear on the first page when you run through and run that report in your individual farm file. So once you're happy with the settings of your header, what you've got here is a range of reports you can select to add into the report pack. So I might start just with a cash flow, and this is an important concept that talks to the save views. So this is a saved view at an organization visibility level that I've selected on an individual farm file. So I can select that, and that will run those settings that have been saved over any of the reports in the farm files that I run this report pack for. So I'll do the same with another report. I'll add in a profit and loss, and I've already pre-made these save views, but we'll jump into the file and have a look at how that looks. I'll add my variance report, and I've got that save view there as well. So I'll firstly run this, and then we'll come back and talk to some farm favorites. So I might not actually want any narrations in here, so you can come through and just cross off those tiles. If you already have disclaimer settings set up through your organization, that will default to come through on the report. If you don't, you can add them in here to pull through as well. So once you're happy with the report and the settings that you've created, click Save to save down that report pack. And what you can do now is jump into any individual farm file that has the same subscription that you've set up this report pack for. And you'll see this flow down if you've got organizational access on that report. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump into an individual farm file now. And you can see that I've got that management reporting template that's just flown through as my org report pack. I've also got that other org report pack that was in the org. If we jump back to here, so you'll see there's two organization report packs that are flowing down onto this file denoted by this tag. And I've also got a farm level report pack that I previously created on this individual file. So if we flick back to our workflow here, you can see that I've created the org pack inside the organization. I've pulled through the save report views that were already created. And what that's now doing is building out that standardization. I might be in this one individual file here, but they will also go across any of those other farm files that are connected with that organization. So I can show you that here. I'll just jump over to another another file, and I'll jump through to report packs, and you'll see as this file is also connected with the organization, those two report packs are flowing down. So at this point, what you might want to do is run the report pack. So this will run it and send an email out to your own individual user, and then you can assess the PDF and forward that on. What you can also do here is preview. So in the preview now, we can scroll down, see the contents of the report, see the reports that we've selected to run through on this file, and you can actually add temporary narrations at the farm level. So if you do want to add any commentary individual to that farm file, you can do it at this preview section. You can deselect the page break just to put it down at the bottom of that report. So anything you do at this point will follow through. That's the same with if you wanted to collapse any of the headings. By default, they'll all be expanded. But if you want to collapse certain rows, you can do so. And then from here, you can download that as a PDF, or you can actually save the report, which follows the same functions of a normal saved report. So you can add in comments and then share that out from the platform directly. So this is the temporary preview. But if we jump back onto this main page here, you can also schedule this to send out. So you can select any user on the individual farm file to send it out to, and you can select a start date and a frequency of repeating. So you might want to just set that up to send out automatically, or once you're happy with, once you've reviewed the report, you might want to go in, preview it, add any temporary narrations, save it and send it out. So you've got a few options to go through there. So what I've shown you is obviously preset with pre-saved views. So if we just jump into reports on this file, and let's say we want to start adding in some more reports into that report pack. So if I just jump into the profit and loss, you can view the details of the saved views that are already on this individual farm. So you can see here I've got the visibility set to my organization. So that was the saved view I previously created that I could pull through into that org report pack. So you can create other save views, and a little tip just to be sure you're using those dynamic dates, so using those naming conventions like this year and actuals to last month. And you can also use that custom feature if you want to set say -2 months from the current month. That's also an option with your save views. But what you might also want to have in your report is farm specific information. So what Figured uses for this is the farm favorite selection. So if I, say for example, wanted to compare this report against my budget for the year, I could select my snapshots from 2023, select that annual plan, run the report. Now that's going to show my comparison against my annual plan budget. I can save this view. You'll notice here I cannot set my visibility level to organization, and that's because it has farm specific selections such as the snapshot. So what I can do is set as a favorite, and be sure to you're giving a good description of any of the save views, just so you can always look back and realize what it was for. I can click Save New View. Now that is now set as a farm favorite, which also means that these settings will preload every time I jump into the report. But essentially what the farm favorites does is it allows you to utilize that farm specific information when you're creating your report pack. So if I jump back to my organization and I want to edit this report, and let's say maybe I'm adding that extra report, so I can say against the budget, I can add another report. I can select that profit and loss, and instead of actually selecting any of those save views that were coming through, I'll just leave it on that farm favorites. So that's going to pull through any farm favorites that are set up for my profit and loss report. So if I now click save, and if I jump back to the farm file, go back into report packs, report is loaded, scroll down through all the reports. So it was the last one. So you can now see my profit and loss report on this individual file has pulled through that farm specific information, which is the snapshot that I use for the farm favorites. So if I created multiple farm favorites for the P&L, that would pull through all of those. So it could be handy if you're creating an end of year report pack and you've got multiple livestock trading statements. You could use multiple farm specific save views to pull those all through. and noting that that is obviously specific to this individual file. So if I went through into my other individual farm connected with the org, and I went and ran that management report, you wouldn't pull through that profit and loss against the snapshot on that report, because that was only specific to this file before we ran it. So farm favorites are obviously quite useful when you're configuring for any of that farm specific information. So any of your trading statements or your production reports, that's all just going to be the farm specific data when you create those farm favorites on the individual files. So lastly, some tips and tricks. It really comes down to the save view and the save view management. If we're back in the individual file, if you click reset to default, that's just going to remove the save view from your settings, but you can come through here and actually manage your save views by clicking view details. So you can delete them. If I had other shared view save views, I could change the farm favorites around. So let's just say I created another one. You'll see this view has come through here. It is only on a shared visibility level, so it won't be pulling through to that organizational report pack. But under view details, you can see I can star multiple save views. And the configuration and look and feel is the same for your farm level report packs. So if I jump back in, you'll see I've got a farm level report pack here. So if I was going to add a farm level report pack, I could do the same thing. And again, this is just on the individual file, but your configurations through the headers and narrations are all the same. With the benefit being that if you do this on the individual farm, you can highly customize the headers and narration specific to that farm. You can see here the same save views pull through. So if I select profit and loss, you can see these pull through here. There's not as much need for the farm favorites on the individual farm file, as you can just save it particular on the shared view. The shared view visibilities will pull through on the farm level, but you still have the option to select the farm favorites to pull through. And back in the reports pack tab, you do have a view here. If you only want to view your org reports or your farm reports, you can toggle that across. And report packs do also support multi-farm capability. So if you've got a multi-farm, you'll be able to select the different tracking categories inside the template. So that's all for today's video. If you've got any questions, feel free to reach out to the green chat bubble and we'll be happy to help.